Right, we're on, mate. We're on. Right, welcome back to Process, the podcast. Today we have another guest. We've got Will Hall, all the way from Jersey. I see from in Jersey, so different Will compared to me. Welcome to the podcast, mate.
Thank you, mate. Thank you for having me on again.
Yeah, no worries. So we're just going to talk about, obviously, it's weird talking about how people meet. This is the first time we've ever spoke. We literally met on Instagram because I remember TM Cycles with Thomas Small. If you don't follow him, someone definitely you need to follow on Instagram. Yeah. He was your coach for a little bit, and I seen him put something on his story or something like that about you. And I was like, oh, this guy, like, I looked at his content and stuff, and I was like, oh, this like, and looked like his Instagram, give him a follow. And then we ended up, I don't know, you followed me back a few weeks later or something, then we just ended up messaging and stuff.
I think it was just after the show. I remember you sent a message,
Yeah, it was ages. It feels like ages ago, that. And then I remember seeing you competed, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about your bodybuilding side. And then I think you went I remember a few photos you put on in like Marbella or something. I was like, that looks like wherever you were training looked ridiculous. Yeah, but anyway.
That was, what's his name? Dorian Yates's gym.
Oh, has he got one in Marbella?
Yeah. So I think he used to own it and then he got like sold, I bought out or something, I'm sure.
Mental.
But yeah, mate, madness.
Need to get myself there. But anyway, it'd be good, interesting because I've literally, it's the first time we've chatted, just to hear kind of your backstory, say going back to like when you're in school, say, or how you got into fitness, kind of your journey from, even if it was when you were younger, and then going up to where you are now to start off.
For sure. So to be honest with you, it all started, I must have been 13, 14, like I played a bit of sport, wasn't really ever into anything. Was always like this like tall, skinny kid, lanky kid. And then I remember like I got a bit of stick at school and I thought, right, like I'm gonna start training now. I started with one of my mates, still one of my best mates now, Danny. We went to the gym. It started off like boxing and then we do a bit of weight training at the end, and it was the classic like do 30 reps and you get shredded kind of workout, like men's health workout. So yeah, it started with that, and then it just continued sort of being like not really optimal, just going in doing chest and arms every day like we all used to do. I'm sure you did.
Yeah, 100 reps and stuff like that. Just press ups every day.
Yeah, just volume, mate. But and then it sort of continued like that for a few years. I got more into sort of learning about the diet and the training side. Got really into the strength training. Me and him actually both like prepped for a meet that was in 2019. We were still training at this this gym was sick back in the day. It was called LH Fitness, right? And it is like proper old school, like dirty, like blood, sweat and tears gym. So we prepped for this powerlifting meet. To be honest, mate, I don't think either of us programmed for it at all, to be honest. I think we just wung it. I can't even remember that. So long ago. But yeah, ended up doing the meet, and it was the federation was GPCGB, and it's untested, so everyone there. Yeah, well, we didn't know about it. We were 18, 19. Yeah. So we go over, get to UK, and we do the weigh-in, and we're looking at all these guys thinking, what are they doing that we're not? Obviously, it's all.
How much were you weighing when you competed? Like, well, how tall are you, and how much was you weighing?
At the time, I think I was 6'2". And the weight class we were in was like 81 kilos.
Yeah.
But I cut down from 90. So we did like a cut for that meet, which probably wasn't the best idea. The first one, both qualified. Like I think I just scraped the barrel. So we qualified for like the finals. Loved it. Like I was in love with powerlifting like that for so long. And then you sort of realize like training like that, your body just gets beaten up.
Yeah.
So yeah, just continued training, stayed at that gym for a while. And then it sort of transitioned. I think it was just the injury side. Thinking back to it, I was like, this is just beating me up. You know, my knees, elbows, everything. Started doing a bit more like hypertrophy work, like sort of trying bodybuilding stuff. I didn't really have a clue what I was doing. I was so used to my like strength training rep ranges. I think I followed. Do you follow him on Instagram? A guy called Julian Smith.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who it is now. I know that name. Who's Julian Smith?
Massive quad. He's got Arms Race Gym, that's what it's called or something.
Yeah, I know the name. I can't think, yeah.
I subscribe to like one of those, you know, the monthly like things you pay and you get like their daily workouts.
Yeah, I know who it is now. Yeah, he's got a beard and that. And it was just
Yeah.
now. Yeah, I used to watch his stuff all the time because it was very like, he used to do really unique exercises because he used to do loads of the,
That's the one.
is it sissy squats that he used to do? And he used to like, squat down on his toes and stuff.
It was ridiculous, mate. Like to be honest, it was cool, but it was just like, it was all very tempo based and like a lot of supersets and like drop sets. But yeah, that's sort of what got started me into the like bodybuilding side. Like I want to look a certain way now. And then I'm trying to think. After that, I actually went away, so I went traveling for like 9 months.
All right.
Didn't really train at all. Came back looking like well out of shape, as you can imagine. And that's before I got back, I thought, right, I want to get looking a certain way again, and the only way I'm going to do that, I'm very like, if I don't have a goal, I don't want to train. So I thought, right, I'm going to do a show in September. So I got back in December, got in touch with Tom straight away, who we were speaking about before. Cracking, like, best experience getting coached by him, and that's where I sort of started learning all the stuff I was posting about myself. You know, prepping for that show. I think we're going to get into that a bit later, aren't we? Talk about prep.
Yeah. We'll talk about prep.
But yeah, did the show. Actually started competing a bit before that, but like moved to the gym where I did the prep for the show. So it was quite good. I was able to work and then train, and like I was sort of in that environment. It made it very easy. Did the show, and then I thought, right, it's time for a completely different goal. Something I'd always wanted to do, like apply for the Marines. So I put my application in for that, and everything. I think we're going to speak about this again, but everything has changed since then. Like I can't remember the last time I did a straight set.
So that's the only reason I've got you on, because like I've had a few PTs who train certain ways, but you've trained like, I didn't realize you did powerlifting and stuff. So you've done powerlifting, you did bodybuilding, now you're into more like endurance, running, swimming, cycling stuff. So it's good to see how like your training stuff changed, which is one of the reasons I got you on. So now that'll be good. So talking about, when did you start PTing? Sorry, how many years ago was that? How many years have you been doing it?
I'm 22 now. I think I started when I was 19, and I started originally doing it from that little gym I mentioned before.
Yeah.
But I think because of the facilities, they weren't the best for clients, so it never really picked up. Kept it going until I went traveling, and then when I got back, I started up at a new gym. That went really well. I'm also like a postie as well, postman. So I was doing that sort of like to just make my hours up in the mornings after work. And then since this new goal, like I've just moved everything pretty much online now. Still working as a postman, gives me a bit more flexibility. But yeah, I do miss doing the one-to-one sessions. To be honest, like, it is good when you can see the motivation you're giving someone in person. But at the same time, I know you're doing online coaching as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm doing a bit. So I do. Obviously, I can't really do too much one-on-one at the minute, but that's what I'm doing. Like transition a little bit between both. But I enjoy both aspects of it. But some people are more suited to one, and so you can say.
No, but do you find like with the online side, you get a sort of different bunch of people. Like you don't have to motivate them necessarily as much. Like they're going to stick to that program and their macros.
That is the thing with online coaching. You do need people who are like motivated. They just need the guidance kind of thing, and then they'll crack on. Like I've had a few online clients where they don't, and I'm like constantly. It gets like frustrating for yourself because you're constantly on the case, that you're sending the messages like, "Oh, how's it been going?" And then you give them the check-in form and they check back and they're like, "Oh, like training wasn't good. I only trained twice this week," and you just like. There's only so much I can help you like over like, and a few of them I have like Zoom calls with them to try and keep on the case, but it's like there's only so much you can do online.
It's having the chat, isn't it, with them, being like, right, is this actually what? If you don't want to be doing this, you need to sort of decide or reassess your goal or do something else. Like I've had it the same, and you just have to be completely honest, I think, and be like, look, there's a reason you're not feeling motivated. We either need to change something, you need a different goal, or we completely reassess everything.
100%. And I think when you first start PT, you charge lower prices just because you're starting up and you want to get clients anyway. So like since lockdown, probably I'm still nowhere near expensive, because I know the likes of Thomas Moore and Bridgman and AJ Morris, they know how much they charge, and I think I'm not on that level at all. But I feel like if you charge a little bit more, you're going to get people who actually want to invest in themselves. So
100%.
Like, if people are going to pay that money, you're going to, first of all, you're going to have to give them the quality product, but they're actually going to put the time in because they know, right, I'm paying this much money.
Yeah, they're buying in, aren't they?
They're buying into themselves, they're investing. Whereas if you just, like when I first started, I was giving programs out for like 15 quid and stuff like that, just like trying to get them out 10, 15
When it's
quid.
your mates, it's for free and they never look at it.
And then you hear you give them the program and then you hear nothing back from them, and I'm just like you, there's no point doing that. It's fair enough to start with, like if it's a few of your mates, but you just got to choose the right mates, because some of them, because they're your pals, will probably not put 100% into it. Whereas some of them, obviously, if you've got the right mind, they've got the right mindset about it and stuff, they'll do bits for you, which is what you want. But yeah, that's why I feel online coaching, you have to up your prices so you get the right people actually coming in and doing it.
For sure. I mate, I completely agree with that.
But yeah, so we'll talk about your, well, first of all, it'd be interesting, what was your training like when you were powerlifting? Like obviously it was low rep ranges, but did you follow a certain program or?
I was trying to think, because I was thinking while I was speaking about it, have you heard of someone called Hayden Bowie and Steffi Cohen?
I've heard of Steffi Cohen. I can't think of,
She's stacked, mate. She's like ridiculously strong. I think she was Olympic lifting, powerlifting, but they've set something up called hybrid performance method. And I'm sure I was following that, but it wasn't like tailored to like peak me into the meet, but it's still like, it was still great. So I was sort of following their workouts, which was obviously the staples of like your squat, your bench, your deadlift, and then there'd be a few accessories after. But yeah, I pretty much ran that program, the hybrid performance method powerlifting program or something, into the meet. So it was like I said, just all heavy weight, like low reps, and then a bit of volume. And then I think the week of the meet, I pulled everything back and I did like 3 sets of 3 on every lift, 70%, and then 3 days off.
Yeah.
But it's quite a funny story actually. If Danny watches this, he'll remember. But we had to do this like water cut and weight cut, like I said, to get down to 81. And the weigh-in is normally on the day, but that federation did it the day before.
Yeah.
Straight after, I mean, like we went to town on food. Honestly, mate, it was horrific. Like, you know, when you're so full that you physically can't move. We were just like that, lying in a hotel room at night. Like, mate, I don't think either one of us went to the toilet for like a week after. It was, but we did the meet, and I've never felt so strong. So it worked.
Really? I was going to say, how did you feel after that? I'm surprised. To be fair, it's powerlifting, so it's not as if you're running around or anything, but how did you feel?
That night, I thought, like, after we ate pizza, we ate ice cream, we went out for Italian, like, we must have done 10,000 calories.
Yeah.
That night, we both were like, I don't know if I can compete. You know when you're just, like, lethargic?
Yeah.
Yeah, that, mate. But then the day we got there, I think the environment as well, you're just like, right, let's do this. And, mate, it was on par with getting on, like, a bodybuilding stage. Like, you're in front of all these people who, like, you know, their totals are like 1,000 kilos or more. Do you know what I mean? And they're watching you and they're clapping for you when you're deadlifting. I think I pulled 230, and there's people there pulling like.
That's decent, that though.
Yeah, 400
I was
kilos.
say, what were your lifts then when you bought your power build?
Squat, my third attempt, I got 170, which was for like squats. I've always been rubbish at. I think mainly, like, I know you're quite tall as well, like the leverage is just horrific.
I struggle.
Oh, it's just
benching
depressing.
As well. Benching and squats.
Yeah, but squats I got 170, so I matched what my PB was before I started cutting down, so at like 90 kilos. Bench, I got 125, I think. I failed, so you get 3 attempts. I don't know if you know about that. Yeah, I failed my second, and I thought, right, I'm just going to go for it again. I managed to get it, the grindiest rep. I'll send it to you after this. And then my dead, 230. So it was good. Danny was a lot stronger than me. He got some ridiculous lifts.
That's strong. Well, that is very strong for that body weight. Very strong.
Yeah, it was decent, yeah.
That's good. Then after that, obviously, you went away, came traveling, and then your bodybuilding preps. It'd be good to talk about that because a lot of people probably don't realize like how actually tough it is, both physically, mentally, and the fact that going to that level of body fat messes up your body completely. Like, just talk us through. Talk us through the prep. So, obviously, how long was your prep? Was it about 16 weeks? Or
so that was the thing. Yeah, like I said, when I got back from traveling, I thought I'm going to do this. I'm going to look sick on the day. My prep, even though I wasn't dieting, I was in a surplus. It literally started from the day I got back because I've never been so meticulous with food. Like, my surplus, everything was on point. All my meals are prepped. I'd have like 1 meal a week off plan, few beers, wasn't really like partying or anything.
Yeah.
So, but the diet prep itself, I think we did, 14 weeks.
Uh-huh.
I think that's how long it was. Yeah. But do you want me to just talk about like the dieting side? Because I mean, the surplus is pretty easy. You're just eating a lot.
No, it's not too bad. So,
So,
how did you kind of go through it? So obviously talking about, I know different coaches have different techniques and stuff like that in terms of dieting down. So how did you kind of diet? Was it just like you give you a set calories for a certain amount of weeks, and then after a certain amount, you'd be like, right, your body weight's this, that, and the other. You're looking this sort of way, then we'll drop it down a little bit more, or?
So with Tom, it's a very similar approach. I mean, I've adopted that from him with my clients, but I'd weigh myself every day, log it on the sheets. Every Saturday morning, I'd do like a check-in video of me posing, just like standing naturally. And we'd assess after that. So at the beginning, my macros are pretty high because I'd been like eating like just in a surplus, like constantly having to up them for 5 months or something.
Yeah.
So my food started high, cardio started low. And then obviously as you get into the darker stages after like 6 to 8 weeks, that's when food starts dropping, cardio starts going up, like at the time I was doing an office job. So I would PT from 6 till 8, go to my office job 8:30 till 5, and then had to come home, eat, go back to the gym, and I'd get home at like 9. So I was doing my cardio sessions at like 4:30 in the morning. Like, yeah, you learn to live on like absolutely zero sleep. So it definitely intensifies. Like you're talking about, like you get to those darker stages. The training pretty much stayed the same, just focused on the same rep ranges. Still, like some of my lifts I still progressed towards the end of prep. But the food starts getting lower. You start learning how to make your meals like a lot more like full of volume. But yeah, like going into the sort of physical side that you're asking about and the mental, like I know you got pretty lean, didn't you? Was it last summer?
Yeah, last summer, but mine was just because I've never been. Mine was 2 reasons, to be fair. 2 reasons was because I was playing full-time football, and I found that when I was lighter, I wanted to see if that would affect my injuries that I've had. So like I had a number of like major surgeries on my knees, and I felt I was like, if I get lighter, that'll obviously be less load on my tendons and on my joints and stuff like that. So I got really lean. So at the minute I'm about 100 kilograms. I got to like 88. And I did feel like my pain and stuff went down quite a lot. But like, obviously, I found it mentally a little bit quite tough maintaining that. But I obviously wasn't on the same level as like competing. I was very lean, but not competing lean.
Yeah, because it's like once you've restricted yourself for so long, that was the problem I had, because I went so like head first, even for the surplus. I'd not done all the things like socializing too much. So prep really started to get to me like, like it was 5 weeks out. That's when I just woke up one day and I was like, what? Like you doubt yourself. You wake up, you're like, what am I doing? Like my mates are doing this. I'm working like ridiculous hours. I'm doing cardio. I'm training 2 hours a day. It was just, I remember just so many different things go through your head because you're so hungry. You turn into a bit of a different person. Like you're snappy. Small things will trigger, like you forget to do the laundry. You come home, I'd be like, it would just ruin my day. It's just ridiculous things, like it triggers you. And it's definitely because the lack of food. And I think I remember feeling so tired all the time. You'd feel good for the 2 hours you train. And then after that, like some of the boys said, we'd meet up to go for a walk and I'd be sitting down every 10 minutes, like having a little
drained.
But yeah, and then physically, like it was weird. I don't really know how to explain it, but for the times I did train, felt amazing until, pretty much the whole of prep. But then, like I said, the times I didn't, like before, I'd just doze off. Like when I got home, all your just energy is just shot, man.
A fair play to you for doing that with the kind of work lifestyle, like getting up with 4:30 in the morning, and you probably weren't sleeping. I'm guessing you were probably having quite a bit of pre-workout before training. Were you smashing the pre-workout or not really?
I wasn't too bad. I think I would take it for leg days because I was like, mate, I've got to do like 200 kilos on the hack squat. Like, I'm not looking forward to it. But yeah, like I'm probably more of a stim junkie now, to be honest. The coffees, the monsters, like.
Yeah. Actually, I've got to say, I haven't even opened mine yet. I'll just do it I don't know if
Yeah,
the
you need
camera
to
will.
go on.
Oh, I'm struggling here. There we go.
I'll watch your eyes start pinging open, mate.
No, I haven't had one of these in like 2 weeks.
It's
But
good
anyway,
though.
yeah, so you weren't too bad for the caffeine, because I was going to say, if you were training at night time especially, and you were having pre-workout and stuff, it would have probably massively impacted your sleep. And then the fact that you're getting up at 4:30 in the morning, I don't think people realise that like effect that lack of sleep will have on
Mate,
like
100%.
recovery and stress and stuff. And then you're in a calorie surplus. After I'd done my diet sort of thing, I went away on holiday, came back, and then I got my Medi-checks. Yeah, the Medi-checks, the blood. I got my blood test done. So I got that done, got my results back, and everything was fine. There was only 2 markers that I think were off, but what my cortisol was like ridiculous. So cortisol is your stress hormone, if people don't know. So my cortisol was just through the roof. I think I've still got my results now, but that was just purely probably because I was in a calorie surplus, deficit. Sorry, I was that lean for that long that it messes
Well, mine
with
was
your
the same,
body.
mate. I got my bloods done 6 weeks out, and my doctor was like, "Is everything all right?" Because I got it done in person over here. I think
Yeah,
it cost like 20 quid, so it's more expensive for me to order it and all that. And he was like, "Oh, do you need to speak to anyone?" Like thinking I was just so stressed. And I was like, "Mate, I'm sleeping like 5 hours a night, like training, like doing all this cardio." I was like, "I'll be fine. Just give me like 6 more weeks."
yeah,
I know what you mean. You just, when you're not sleeping and caffeine's high, like you know something's wrong. You feel very like edgy, don't you?
yeah. You feel like I was just like needing that caffeine. I remember the caffeine would help with the hunger though, because it like suppresses your appetite. So I would just be relying on that to see me through. And I knew
Yeah.
the window. Like, I mean, I'm talking like I was bodybuilding prep, and I was probably at the 5-week out stage, like 6 weeks out sort of leanness. You've
Yeah.
obviously had an extra 6 weeks to go, so I was lean, but I wasn't ridiculous. But even I was like, right, if I have my caffeine now, half an hour before the gym, I'll train for like an hour and a half. Then that'll leave like 3 hours when I'm not eating. I was thinking of like that, and then like you think and plan out your day, like when you're gonna eat and how you can stop yourself from feeling hungry. I remember that's what it was like.
Anything to not be hungry. Yeah.
Anything to not be hungry, but at the end of the day, you're gonna be hungry, aren't you? Like
Yeah.
people come up with these ways, like you can like, increase volume in your food by putting a heap load of lettuce and salad and stuff. And what were you doing in terms of trying to bulk up your
A lot of
meals?
like intermittent fasting, because obviously, like I said, I'd be working. I'd have my first meal at like, I'm trying to remember my lunch, 1 p.m.
Yeah,
And because it was an office job, I wouldn't really get a chance to eat again. Like I'd have a bit throughout the day. I wouldn't really get a chance to eat until I came home, had some cereal, some bagels with jam on pre-workout, went back to the gym, and then I'd have like my last meal at like 9 p.m.
yeah,
So it was good because like you said, I was so busy that sometimes I like didn't even really think about it.
yeah. That's good. I feel
But
like that was the same with me. I keep comparing myself to you, but you were bodybuilding prepping. But I was the same. I used to do fasting quite
it's
a bit.
similar though, mate. Like it's
Yeah, any
nice.
sort of serious dieting to get into the point. Like I had like ab veins and all that sort of stuff, but it was never like ridiculously.
The
But
same thing, mate.
yeah, so I was the same. I did the fasting and stuff, but the more that you keep yourself busy, the less you do think about food. And then, but I felt like it got to a certain point, like a few weeks down the line, and it like I was just always kind of hungry, and I was either always tired. It was fine for like 2 or 3 weeks, like fasted and only having like 3 meals a day between like 1 o'clock and 8 o'clock. It was fine, and then at a certain point, it was just like you just get, like you said,
Rubbish,
snappy,
mate.
tired, ropey, horrendous, which a lot of people don't realize, and everyone wants to be shredded, but you don't.
Mate,
It's not maintainable. It's not healthy. It's healthy to be lean, but not like you're in good shape now and stuff now, but not like that level.
yeah. But do you
Ridiculous.
want me to go into the show a bit then? Like,
Talk about the show, yeah. So how was that? So, I want to hear the tan procedure and all that. What happened?
mate. So, well, in terms of food, actually, like a week before the show, Tom was like, right, let's start putting some carbs in. Let's have like almost like a mock show day, because we didn't really know what was going to work for my body.
Yeah,
And then I remember sending him the check-in photos. It's quite weird, actually. The whole time you're doing a prep, you look at the photos and you think, I shouldn't compete. I'm not lean enough. Like all these things, mate, your head's shot. And I sent them to him. And I remember he put a comparison of the start of prep next to that. And I was like,
yeah,
right, we're ready. I was like, this is it. This is what we work for. So I actually did the show in Ireland, in Belfast, which was like its own little like struggle in itself. Like I thought, oh, first show, don't need to like stress. I'll go to Ireland. obviously the travel, like bringing scales, all that, like it just adds up to the cortisol that's already. But yeah, so I'm trying to think. Day before the show, no, it's the morning of the show. You go, you do a weigh-in. It didn't matter for me because I was junior men's physique, so weight just really didn't matter. I think if you looked too big, they would just put you in the next class.
Yeah. What federation was it? Sorry.
It was UKBFF.
UKBFF, yeah.
It was,
is that tested or not?
No, it's not tested.
Not tested,
but I mean,
no.
It was a good federation, and I'm not someone to sort of like put other people down. I think if you put the work in to do a show, go and do it. But some of the people there, it almost frustrated me a bit because I had known the dark place that I'd gone through for like that 3-month prep or whatever it was. And some people looked like they dieted for 2 weeks and just showed up.
Yeah.
And that sort of messed my head up a bit in the morning because I thought, I've just like, what have I done? I was like, I haven't looked into this. But then on the day, so you want to know about the spray tan? Oh, mate.
Come on then.
So you, I remember rocking up and I was like, probably the 5th or 6th person to get it done because I was going to be on one of the first. You have to put these little like paper thong pants on. You've got some bird with their spray tan guns. Obviously starts from the top. She's head height. With your chap down there spraying. And I just remember looking down at the pants and just completely see-through. So basically just stood there completely naked.
And you're so nervous that he's shrunk back into the skin.
Oh, mate, gone, doesn't it? Yeah. But, it was funny, but I messed up a little bit with the tan. I remember you're supposed to like shave your body hair 2 days before.
Yeah.
And I forgot to do my back. So I had my ex at the time beating my back, which is apparently an absolute no-go.
Yeah.
So get the spray tan, everything looks fine. And then I was like, okay, this is itching quite a bit by the time just before I was supposed to go on stage. I mean, after the show, mate, my back, like, that's why I think I rebounded so hard is because my back just flared up with like the worst acne you'll ever see. I got like folliculitis or something from the spray tan going in the pores from the V. And oh, mate, it was horrific. But yeah, there's not really much to say in terms of the show though. Like, you think you're going to be really nervous when you go on stage, but I remember just being like, let's just get it over with. I've got like 6 bagels in my bag, like some cinnamon.
You're just
like,
thinking about the food.
Hey, that's all I was thinking about. You walk out, they're asking you to do the poses, lights are on you can't see anyone. And all I was thinking, right, I've done the work. Like, this is the easiest part. I just have to stand in front of people in some board shorts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've just stood in front of some bird in my see-through. Like, this is the easy part.
Does make it a bit easier, I guess. So what was your, in terms of diet-wise, like pre-show or carving up and stuff, what did you kind of do? Say like your routine the night before, and because obviously you would have figured out from your what do you call it, your practice thing the week before with Tom.
So with that, we didn't actually push like carbs or anything too high. Instead of giving me macros, Tom sent me over like, throughout the whole prep, I was just given macros, a few recommendations because he was like, just enjoy fitting a few things in, keep it clean. But for the 2 or 3 days before, he actually gave me a meal plan. And I remember the day before, it was like very, very limited. And then I got like a burger at night, but like it was like a small burger, still felt amazing. And like 2 cookies from Tesco's. But other than that, it was just like a normal sort of day of eating before that. And then the day of the show, oh no, I had like a water cut as well. Sorry, on that day, I had to.
Did you have any wine? Did you have any?
No, I didn't drink, but I wish I did.
Yeah, people have like white wine and stuff because it dries you out, doesn't it? Dehydrates you.
Yeah, well, apparently, but at the same time, like I got some like legal diuretics from Dolphin Fitness. So I had those. Like, I was looking pretty dry, to be honest. I think we manipulated water and sodium, and then the day of the show, it was literally like, wake up, no water. I was allowed to sip a tiny bit of water at a certain time, like literally just kept it minimal. I had like 2 rice cakes with peanut butter on. And then an hour before the show, I was allowed some more rice cakes with peanut butter, salt. And then I think just before I went on, I had like a pump product. I can't remember which one I used, some sweets, got a pump. And that was it. It was like all very easy. And like the way he laid it out, hats off to him, it was so easy for me to follow. There was no stress.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think it's as complex as everyone seems to think it is. You know?
Yeah.
Like you hear some people doing some pretty weird stuff.
I know, I'm trying to think what I've heard before, but like I've never, to be fair, I've always been interested in doing a bodybuilding show, but it's just the complete transition in terms of training. We'll talk about it. Like I enjoy the kind of mixing up between strength and like endurance stuff and like.
Yeah, that's why I followed. Like when I saw your stuff, I was like, man, this is cool. Like you're doing a lot of compound lifts, and then you've got your conditioning. Obviously, you're posting like a lot of your like conditioning based workouts at the moment, which is sick.
Yeah. So I like mixing it up, and I want to stay functional because I know if I did bodybuilding for like, you'd have to commit to like at least like a decent few months beforehand, and then obviously the prep, which is like what, like 14, 16 weeks. So it's just whether I can sacrifice the functional side of training for that long. But it'd be interesting if you could kind of keep that style of training and still compete, which there probably is. Like, look at the physiques and CrossFit and stuff now. I know it's completely different from men's physique, but some people could probably still.
I think so. 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Just depends on your build and stuff like that. So, talking about how did the competition go?
Yeah, mate. So it wasn't like a massive. I was a bit let down, to be honest. Going back to the UKBFF, it was another guy in my class, and I thought, okay, like I actually still got him on Instagram. He's top lad. But I thought, oh, no, I'm going to be able to compete in like the overalls. And because I was a junior, they were like, oh no, you won the overall. So I competed against one person, but I looked at it in that I was like, right. To be honest, mate, I've not even come here to beat anyone. I was like, I've come here to know that I've done everything I can do to look a certain way, and like going back to that original goal to get in shape again. Like I've almost fast tracked it. What some people do in 2 years, I've managed to do in like 9 months.
Yeah.
So the show was sick, but like I said, it was more like the show is just that end point. I think the best parts when I think back to prep were the times when it was like 4:30 or whatever, my alarm's going off, I've got to do an hour of cardio, and I think, oh no, I'll just leave it today. And you get in your own head, you're like, is he going to leave it? Like, who even is he? Is he going to leave it? They're the best parts. The show is sick. You know, you get on stage, you're showing what you've worked for. But I think the best, like I said, the best part is the journey there. Like,
yeah, it's all the process, mate. That's
yeah.
all it is. It's just enjoying the process.
Wait, no, actually, no. The best part is the food you get to eat after, mate. But
Yeah, I want to talk about that. So talking about, I've heard people's binging after competitions and stuff like that. What was that like?
So
step off stage. What's the first thing you ate?
It was disgusting. I had 6, you know, the New York company bagels.
I just had one before, to be fair.
6 plain bagels, mate. 6. No toasting, no microwave, whatever. Bro, and then I think I had like loads of Reese's Pieces. Like we're watching the show go on, and then we go to leave. Like I was like, right, I need to nap. Like I had to have like a little nap.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I feel just knackered after not eating. I didn't really drink much water, which messed me up. And then my mum had come over with us to like support, and she was like, right, I'll take you out for lunch. Like, well done, blah blah blah. So we go for lunch. I'm just inhaling food. I think I ordered like 2 main courses. Like, I don't even know what I am anymore. And it like I felt rubbish for like an hour, and then I'd be hungry again because your like hunger hormones, leptin, it's shot.
Yeah.
So we went back again, chilled, and I was like, right, I'm gonna get some beers on the way back to the Airbnb.
They would have hit.
Oh mate, I got like 6 beers, drank those, ate a tub of ice cream. I'm watching Netflix, and I think after the first beer, mate, I was just west already.
Yeah.
And, oh mate, so I don't even know how many calories in. And then my mum's like, right, we'll go for dinner, go for this Italian. I ordered, the pizzas weren't like full pizzas. I ordered like 2 like small medium pizzas and a pasta. And I remember just walking into the room at the Italian, and I was just like, all my body was a vein. I think there's a picture on Instagram of me like flexing the mirror, mate. It was disgusting. But to be honest, it gets into quite like a dark side of the whole prep, because you think, oh, I'm just going to binge the day of the show. But for me, it wasn't that. It continued, and I became very like food focused to the point where I'd even like lie to myself. Like I'd be like, right, I'm going to start dieting down again, get in a healthy place. Because when I got home, mate, I did my blood pressure, and it was like to the point where I should have been calling the doctor, because all
you
that
remember
food,
what it was?
I remember just looking at it, and I was like, right, this is the I googled like the Rangers, and I was like top end.
Yeah.
All my joints. I got back to the gym, you know, like 4 days after training, and people were like, "What happened to you?" Like I was like 90 something kilos from
Really.
80 whatever I was when I competed.
I've seen that.
Like,
There's a bodybuilder from Newcastle I've seen. I think he competed at a decent level. He was obviously shredded, whatever. And then a few days later, I seen you put like a workout post on. I was like, it's either that's like a really old video of you, or you've completely ballooned up. Like, just it happens. Like some people, it just happens, doesn't it?
did you find that at all after your diet? Like, did you?
Well, I was bad for binging during it. So what I would do, I got to like there was a few points where I would literally hit. It's weird, like you just crave food and then you get a taste for something and you can't stop. Like I remember literally getting, I can't remember what it was. I think it was on the little Nutella bars. They've got like Nutella filled. I had one of them. Just I put it in my plant, like I put it in my macros and my fitness pal and stuff. And I was like, I'll have one. I'll have one. And I was like, I just want Nutella. And I remember getting home into my flat and literally just sticking my finger in the Nutella jar and just going in for it. And then there was caramel wafers in the cupboard. I was getting them and eating them.
You've got nightmares about this, I can tell.
Yeah, mate, it's bad. It was bad. I wasn't even competing or anything. I was just literally just for myself as well, just trying to get as lean as possible because I'd never done it. And then I just kept on eating and eating. I couldn't stop. And I finished the Nutella jar, had a few more wafers, and I can't remember what else I ate. I just started, I think it was a milkshake in the fridge. I drank that. And then like I remember the next 2 days, I just felt so bloated. But then the next 2 days, I probably had about 1,000 calories each day. So that's what I would do. I would make up for it.
Yeah, which is
And
bad in itself. Like your blood pressure, mate. When you look into like the effects on your health of just binge eating, is just disgusting.
yeah, it's
Like,
ridiculous.
did you notice with your knee, like your inflammation would be bad?
In terms of that, well, so luckily it was my prep. Well, I call it prep. My diet, and I started doing it like the last 4 weeks of the season. The last 6 weeks of the season. Sorry, we broke up. Then I had 2 weeks before, like when we were off. So I was kind of giving my legs a rest a little bit, and then 2 weeks anyway. So it wasn't too bad. From the binging, I can't really remember too much
Because that was what I noticed, mate. Joints, like I remember, like I came to do dumbbell press, and the pound, they were like 120 pounds, and I somehow managed, and I'd like never touched them, but my elbows felt like every single rep.
Yeah.
It felt like a rusty hinge, mate. It was disgusting.
Horrible, yeah.
You're strong. After you do that binge, like I remember walking into the gym and I was just full, like because you're so depleted, you put that food in. Yeah. I was just like, mate, I was ridiculous. Like
you feel so much better. That's what I used to do. I used to always have a Domino's after a game. So I would diet it down and on purposely like starve myself for that game. So like during the game and stuff, I would have like a little breakfast and then I'd have like a Monster or something to like fill us, to keep us kind of give us energy and stuff during the game. Then I'd get home and have a Domino's. But then I'd go and train. In fact, no, I wouldn't even eat. I would have something. I'd go to the gym after a game and then have a Domino's. So I was just training like mad just to earn the Domino's. But I got it, somehow it worked and I maintained it over. So me and my missus went away on holiday and I maintained it somehow over that holiday. And then I went away to Ibiza for 5 days and absolutely blew it. Like, I remember the last day went to Ocean Beach on the last day and I just looked down at my belly and I was just like, what's happening? I had a proper beer belly. I was just drinking beer and stuff. I was drinking everything in sight. And then the whole holiday, like you look down, I was just like, that's 8 weeks gone.
Gone. Mate, that was the same as prep, mate. However long that was, like 3 months, and in a week I was worse than when I started. I was just sick, like
crazy.
But that it almost gets to that side. Like I don't know about you, that went on for so long, mate. Like that went on. Did the show September. That went on till I'd say November. And at the time, I was with my ex, and she wasn't all right with my plans of me like joining the Royal Marines. Hopefully, should I say, because it's quite hard. And I always stuck to the bodybuilding side, and I think that's why now, like I preach, like don't do it unless you know you can handle what comes after the show. Because after the show, mate, I will happily say like I had an eating disorder, 100%. I would diet like you said. One day I would not eat anything. The next it would be disgusting. Like I'd finish work and drive home, stop at the garage, buy so much shit food, sit in my car, drive and eat just like it. Mate, if someone could have watched it like a fly on the wall, they'd be like, what?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then we split up and I was like, right, it's time to go for my goal now. Completely switched to training, which we can talk about a bit later. And since then, since I've not been focused on like, like, I want abs, I want this, I want that. Since I've been like, right, I want a PB a 5K run, I want to be able to lift this much, this many times, I want to feel like a machine. I'm burning so much, like 5,000 calories a day. And two, I'm thinking about putting quality food in. I'm not too fussed about my macros, if I'm honest. I'm thinking about putting quality food in, managing inflammation, and just like eating right. Like there's two sides to things. People think it's just macros, like if it's your macros, but what about what's going on inside your body? Like, run your blood work and tell me what that looks like after a show, because
it's not good, mate. So
do you have any clients that struggle with stuff like that? Because I've recently just had to deal with one.
Well, in terms of, no, because I don't really do like bodybuilding sort of. Most of my clients are either just like, they want to get stronger, feel good. I've got a few kind of like, well, they're all footballers pretty much. I've got like 3 or 4 footballers, so it's a lot more like, I give them macros.
That's cool though, mate. I like that.
Yeah, because that's my background stuff. So I think I get a lot of people because of that, doing that sort of stuff. So I give them like macros and stuff, and I just say to them, look, as long as you're hitting your protein and you're getting your calories in, eat what kind of makes you feel good, and just eat good foods. Like, everyone knows what good foods are. So
because it's coming back to performance, like we were just saying. Like,
exactly.
It's not, I want to be shredded while I'm like putting it in the top corner. Do you know?
Exactly. So I had a client who I give him like, I can't remember how many carbs or stuff I give him, but he said like, oh, I feel better if I have a little bit more fats. I was like, mate, if you feel better having a few more fats, have more fats. I think you ended up going up to like 110 fats, and he's dropped his carbs down a bit. And I'm like, if that works for you, mate, it's fine. You're not prepping for a show where
100%.
Like, if your energy levels feel good, you're not at a level where your carbs are so low that it's actually going to affect your performance. Like, mate, just go for it. So if it works for you, then it works for you. Don't be so set on macros. Be as flexible as possible with them.
It's funny though, isn't it? Like, staying on that, when you do the show, like, people would look at me and be like, oh, like, they think you're like the epitome of health because you look a certain way. One, you eat the same thing every day, so there's no diversity in your diet, which is something I preach that everyone should have. So you're not healthy. Two, you're just depleted in everything. All your hormones are knackered. Like, I think that's why, like, since I've transitioned into this new training, like, I just feel great all the time. Like, when you focus more on how your body's performing, like I know you've just said you do with your clients, like, you actually can almost look better because you're like, that cortisol is probably shot down. Like, you're handling stress better. You're able to train better. You don't need to just be doing like hypertrophy and stuff. Like, man, I almost, sounds bad, I almost wish I didn't do the show and I started training like this sooner.
Yeah.
It's it.
But you need to go through that process to maybe realize it and stuff. It's good to try different things. You can always say like, oh, I wish I done this sooner, but like, you might have not actually realized that you wanted to do this now if you didn't go through that certain thing. So
yeah, exactly, 100%.
So, but I'm the same on you in terms of training. You were on about like training to like look a certain way and stuff. Like, you do get very fixated, especially if you've got an addictive personality. Like, I feel I've got quite an addictive personality. So if I get into something, I'm like, have to be on the point and I have to do everything. I have to do everything I can. If you're kind of focusing on first like enjoyment and like a goal in terms of, I want to, like you want about 5K run times and stuff like that. If you're focusing on that, then the physique side will come naturally to it. And if you're not focusing on that, you're focusing on feeling good and the performance goal, I think that'll get you further and it'll be more enjoyable rather than just constantly looking good. Because there's bodybuilders out there who might look amazing and stuff, but realistically, health-wise,
shot, mate.
It's ridiculous. Especially, obviously, if we talk about steroids and stuff like that, with the amount of bodybuilders that have. Tragically, there was the one who passed away recently as well. Like, they're obviously on the extreme level, but for health and longevity and stuff, there's better ways to go about it.
The guy who passed away recently, he was struggling with his mental health, and I think I can vouch for it, man. When you're like, you're so focused on looking a certain way. Like, I'm not someone who carries an ego, but you gain it just from doing that because you're so focused on the way you look. You like get this ego. I'm not saying Luke Sander had an ego, but why like people struggle with mental health from it, because there's all these like external factors that you don't have to consider when you're not just focused on looking a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I think now, if anyone asked, should I do it? I'd be like, what? You just have to ask why. And if they say, I want a goal and stuff. Set another goal. You're going on holiday. Set that as your goal to look a certain way. But once you get into the deep, like I've done one show, I can't really talk about it. But once you get into that deep, like dark side of like doing shows, it's addictive. You're compromising so much. You're missing out. Like I'm 22. I missed a summer. Like I spent my birthday not drinking. All my mates around. Like you miss a lot. Whereas you could have the same or similar physique. You're not going to get as lean, and just practice like balance and like taking care of yourself. Like I think that a lot of it is like going to affect your mental health no matter how strong you are. Like I thought I was someone who could handle stress and stuff quite well, but there was definitely times then when you question everything, mate.
It's everything that comes with it that actually affects you, like the food and stuff like that. You might be a strong person at the minute when like you're healthy, you're eating right, you're in a good day kind of state. As soon as you go into that like deficit and you're training so much and everything's just building up on you and builds up on you, and then it'll just hit you all at once, and you're not the same person that you were at the start. So yeah, you've got to think about it. If you are obviously going down the route of taking steroids and stuff, you've got to be mentally strong. You've got to have the right like aspirations in terms of having to compete. I think unless you want to compete, like push for like an Olympia stage, I don't really see the point in taking steroids realistically.
I think as well, like it's such a big, I mean, you could speak about it for hours. Like it's such a big subject, like there's people who abuse it, and you can see that in any sport. And I think then there's people who use it. Like a lot of people, you hear the horror stories of people dying, and it's because they're the ones who are abusing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in America, everyone preaches by the age of 40, everyone's getting on TRT.
Yeah, I've heard that's. Well, I know someone who's doing it for health and stuff like that, like for health benefits.
100%. As soon as my natural test drops, mate, I'm going to get on TRT.
Yeah.
Well, you want everything to go to pot.
Exactly. No, I've heard some good things about it. Like, there's a few people I know who take it and then they're looking good and they're like, 50, 60 yard or something like that. So fair play to them. And like TM Cycles, Thomas Moore is a good person to follow for that because he preaches like safe steroid use massively. So if anybody's even thinking about doing it, I think he's probably the person to kind of go to.
100%, yeah. I mean, he's got I don't actually subscribe to it, it's quite bad. He's got his members site. It's like £7. Yeah. You can go on there. I mean, anyone who wants to know anything about training, nutrition, like enhancement, you can look on that and he's a good source. Like enough people are shouting him out about it.
Yeah. It's good that they're talking about it. Like same with Bridgman and stuff, like they're all talking about it, but they never go into detail about like what they take and stuff because they don't want people to go out there, buy the drugs and take exactly what they're taking because they know what they're doing. And there's obviously Callum from Muscle Mentors and stuff there. They know the stuff and they get the blood work done. They're doing this, that and the other to make sure that they're staying healthy. They get to the point where it's going to affect their health. They're just going to obviously get off it or whatever's the safest way to do it.
100%, mate. I think, but I think it, like, not even just referring to that, I think talking about like anything to do with you picking your coach for your show, you want someone who's got like that actual knowledge, because some people just send you like an email with your program on there. They tell you to eat a certain diet and that's all you get. Like with Tom, I think he sort of probably, I haven't really spoken to him, to be honest, since like I stopped doing the bodybuilding, but I think he could tell like I was getting in that dark place at the end. And I remember we FaceTime like once or twice and like he would just reassure me, have everything laid out, it's good. So yeah, to anyone who is going to do a show, make sure you're not going to develop. Like I know you can't really know, but be secure with like your eating and stuff. I think have
people around you though, because other people will know what you're like normally, and then they'll know when you're getting off track or going down a certain route. And yourself, you'd be, I'm fine. But if they're telling you, if you're like your missus or your wife or whatever, or your husband is telling you, like you're like acting strange, you need to like do something about it. Have people around you to tell you that as well. But you still, I was the same. My missus was getting annoyed at me, and I was just ignoring her. Just tell it nah. But we'll talk about. We've been talking for. Sorry, were you gonna say something there?
No, I was just gonna say. So yeah, that's pretty much bodybuilding summarized. It sounds like I'm hating on. I promise I'm not. I'm not at all.
No, I have massive respect for any sort of bodybuilders who like, even the ones who commit in the. Do go down that route and the professional and the take it a certain way, like fair play to them. You've got to have some commitment and some mindset to do that.
Yeah,
massively. But yeah, we'll move on to your, because we've been talking for ages there. Move on to Yeah, I know. So you're training now. You've obviously transitioned from bodybuilding. You talked about your jointly. You've applied for the Marines. You're hopefully going to get in. So what's your training looking like now? What's your goals?
So obviously the goal now is like for the Royal Marines, like I've just got to wait to hear back from like my medical, do one assessment, and then hopefully get like a date to start my actual training. So that's 36 weeks. But obviously now, you know, mate, like the goal is completely different. Like it's probably just the other end of the spectrum. So training is like a lot of running, a lot of conditioning, circuits, everything. I mean, I hadn't ran. I remember the first time I ran. I'm trying to think of dates. Yeah, I put it in January, but I knew in December because I just split with the missus. I was like, right, I'm gonna go for this now. I'm finally, you know, I've got like a bit of free movement. I can do what I want. And the first run I did was like 2K, and I must have been 95 to 100 kilos, mate. Oh, I just finished the run. I was like, I can't do it.
That's like me
And
now,
then,
mate.
yeah, oh, mate, it's horrible. Yeah, you're 100 kilos, aren't you?
Yeah, 5Ks are not fun. I don't know. We'll talk about your challenge that you set me like a few weeks ago, mate. That was brutal. But anyway, I'll let you carry on.
But yeah, so originally I had a guy who was like previously in the Marines. He would just send me sort of like some workouts to follow on top of a bit of my own programming for the like strength side. It was mainly like the runs and what to aim for. So I was sort of following along with that. Like I said, running, sprints, swimming. You've got to do a swimming assessment as well. So I was swimming a bit. And then I passed my interview and they basically fired over a program I should start following to prepare for the assessment and then hopefully the training. So I've been following that now. I can send that to you after this if you want to have a look, actually. Yeah. And it's just the same thing again. A lot of like just conditioning focus, to be honest, mate. There's still the strength side in there. Like I'm supposed to be doing squats, deadlift, and bench, but I've not got access to equipment. So I've been lucky enough. I've got some scaffold and I could do some pull-ups on. I've got a few bits of kit that I can like anything. You can replicate any exercise with bands, with a few kettlebells. But yeah, obviously training now is like, it's so focused on performance that I feel it's weird. I feel more confident in the way I look now because I'm not focused on it and I'm focused on performance. What I get anxiety about is my run times. If I get a bad time, I'm like, oh, I can't post that. People are going to be like, what's it? It's weird, mate. Your head
changes, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, like it's quite similar, to be honest, with what you're posting. Like we're doing a lot of conditioning. You do a lot of your strength training, and then like you throw in some circuits
like
at the end.
EMOMs and they think it's like CrossFit kind of work. They call it CrossFit, but it's literally just conditioning workouts. That's all it is.
Yeah, mate, 100%. And then in terms of the diet, like I said, mate, at first I was like, oh, I'm going to do a mini cut, and I set my macros at 2,400, and then I was just shot after 3 days. Now I just focus. I still focus on eating good. I look at my Apple Watch. If it says I've burnt 5,000, I'll eat 4,500, 4,000. Like, so I'm still dieting, but it varies every day based on my output. I know the Apple Watch isn't going to be the best tool you can use to like.
It's rough. At least it's going to get you in the ring. If you're staying consistent with that tracking method, then it's going to be roughly fine. Like, it's going to work for you.
Yeah, exactly, mate. But yeah, so that's pretty much it now. Like, hopefully, like I said, I'm hoping all going well with this medical triage call I've got and the assessment. I hope end of August, I'll hopefully be off to start. So I've still got some time to like just improve the running. Obviously dieting, like going back to what you said in terms of the running, like shaving weight off makes it so much easier. Like when I first started, my ankle, my knee was shot, man, carrying so much weight. But yeah, and also like tidying the diet up after sort of binge eating, mate, my inflammation. Like I recently found out if I eat gluten, my knees the next day are just knackered. So I cut gluten out about 5 days ago, did my 10K this morning, and I felt like I could have done 20. Like I can't even describe just the difference between something like changing just gluten on the diet.
You've got to experiment. Your body is an experiment. Try different things. Like for some people, that's why I don't like saying to people like this way is the best way. Like plant-based is the best way. Not eating meat, like having fish, not having gluten. You can't. Like, everybody's different. Everyone's body digesting is the same. It's just got. It's like trial and error. Like you've literally got to trial and error and see what works for you. Like I know certain things that work for me. Like I've been doing a little bit of intermittent fasting, which I felt helps with my inflammation as well.
Oh, mate, I'm the same, 100%.
Yeah, it massively helps. It's annoying when you train early. Like I seen you up on your Instagram story this morning at like 5 o'clock going for a run. Can't remember you. I was like, I fucking love this. I can't remember. But if anybody's watching, you have to follow him. But like it's hard when you train so early in the day to obviously then fast until like 1 o'clock because you need that obviously the recovery and stuff, the food after training to recover.
Yeah.
So on days I train early, I'll have something after. But if I'm training later on in the day,
what time do you train normally?
Oh mate, it's all over the place. So at the minute, my missus is on night shifts, so it's either I train really early or I train later, just because she's sleeping during the day. Like unless I'm going out for a run and stuff like that.
Will you eat in the mornings before you?
So I've ate because I'm gonna go and train straight after this. I've ate at 9 o'clock today, and then I'm gonna go and train at like 11:30 or something like that. Because I like to leave it quite a bit before. I like at least 2 hours. But if sometimes I do train fasted. So what I was doing previously, I was training at about 10:30, and then I wasn't eating until about 12:30. Just depends really. Like my training's been training all the time.
I still haven't figured it out though. Like I'm trying to decide, do I feel better not eating? I think when I run, when it's under, I'm making it sound like I can do a lot more than 10K, but I probably can, but I haven't, that's not my program. So I'm not. When I run, I feel like I don't really need to eat. Like this morning, mate, I felt like I hydrated. I had like a litre of water, espresso, felt amazing running. But when I do the sort of circuits and conditioning, I'm exactly like you, like hour and a half, 2 hours. I need to get a bit of food in, like a decent balanced meal. Otherwise, you flag after like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I do feel better for like 100% with the running. I'm 100% with you for that. Like, just because I don't like having anything in my stomach as well. Like, even if I waited 2.5 hours, I can still feel like something's in my stomach digesting. Even if I have something light, like a bagel or some jam and maybe a protein shake or something like that, like I still feel like there's something there. If you get up the first thing in the morning and go for a run, like I feel like you feel great. And then strength wise, I still feel good training fasted, but I just know my strength isn't the same level just through tracking. Like I know it's not the same, but I've seen the likes of like Rich Froning and Josh Bridges, CrossFit athletes. Yeah, they do fasting as well.
Yeah,
and they see benefits from it. Like there's increased in testosterone, increased in growth hormone from it apparently. So
and it make your point. Like our bodies aren't designed to be eating 24/7. Like I know it's been a while since we were in prehistoric times, and like, but you wouldn't be eating and just grazing. We're not grazers. Like that's why I think anyone like who just think breakfast is the most important meal. Like it's just not. You want to give your body a bit of time to like come out of your sleep cycle, like ease into things. That's why I pretty much with clients, unless they're deep into like a surplus, I'll be like, right, first meal, like 12 when you have your lunch. There's like a lot of office work.
You're more productive as well if you get up in the morning. You have a lot of work to do. I don't like eating because I feel like, especially if you're having something like oats or like porridge or something like carby, quite heavy, it does tire out a little bit. So I like to just, if I'm not training till late, I'll just not eat until like 12, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with that, mate.
Yeah. So just what's your what are the testing teams in the Marines? What you got to do? Just be interesting to hear.
So it's all with coronavirus. It's all gone a bit up in the air. Like what I've been told it might change is what I've been told. But originally, if coronavirus hadn't have happened, they would have basically come over here. I would have done a treadmill assessment, which is your pre-joining fitness test.
Yeah.
You have to do 2.4K in exactly 12 minutes 30.
And then a minute rest and then a 10-minute 30. Because that's what I have to do at work. I have to actually record them.
Oh, really? Wait, is that?
Well, I work at Nuffield Health, so
yeah, mate. Yeah, but now we don't have one over here, so it's just at like a gym called Fort Region.
Mm-hmm.
But and then after that, obviously, if you pass, you go to a PRMC, which is your potential Royal Marine course.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I think it was originally 3 days, but they increased it to 5. So you'd go over to the base, which is Lympstone in the UK, and you'd basically do like 5 days of just getting beasted, where you'd have to replicate that treadmill run as one of the assessments, but on tarmac. You'd have to do a swimming assessment, which wasn't too bad, to be honest, like looking at it. And then a gym assessment, which was like, you have to do over 3 pull-ups, which I think that's quite low. Yeah. And then the sit-ups, you had to do over 60 feet pinned. I struggled quite a lot with
Sit-ups are tough.
Yeah, mate, because my upper body's quite big, like the leverage as well.
That's the one thing most people fail on when I do them. Most people fail on the sit-ups because the one for the, I can't remember which one. I think it is Marines, you have to do 34 in a minute. Is it 36? I can't remember what it is. I think, but a lot of lads, like, it's literally like averaging one every other second, pretty much. And it is quite tough, especially hands on your head, like full range of motions. Quite tough. Shoulders have got to touch the floor. Like, it is very tough.
Yeah, it's hard. And then the press ups, I'm sure the press ups were like 30 or 40, which wasn't too bad either. But now it's all changed. So basically, it's going to be quite weird. I've got to do an assessment on Zoom, which they sent me what I've got to do. So I've got to do 3 rounds, no rest. I've practiced it. I passed it. So I'm quite happy about that. 3 rounds, no rest, 20 burpees. But they're not like normal burpees. You don't do the press up or the jump.
Oh, so it's like up downs. I think I call them all. There's other names for it. Yeah, straight arms.
Which is like it's all to a beat. You do your burpees, 30 sit-ups, 20 press-ups, and then you finish. I'm trying to think. A minute plank. The plank was the worst bit, mate. My delts, like holding it, I was like,
after the press-ups and the burpees, it's tough.
So basically, got to do that on a Zoom call. Hopefully find out. I should be like getting told about this triage call soon. Get that booked in, and then instead of that 5-day course that I was talking about before, they've like extended the training from 32 to 36 weeks. So they've added like an extra 4 weeks to account for it, which is brilliant.
Good.
Yeah,
that's not too bad then.
Oh, mate, I think it's gonna be a long time. Like, yeah,
that's good, mate. It's good to hear how you train. There was one thing as well that I didn't, because I'm not like, obviously I've just kind of learned a little bit of running. I've been watching a bit of Nick Bear stuff on YouTube.
I love him, mate.
He's transitioned from bodybuilding to now like marathon long distance runs. So I've been watching a few of his stuff, and there's a lad that I know from Newcastle who's a great runner. Like, he does like half marathons and stuff all the time, and he did like a 5K in like 16 minutes the other day, and I was just like, oh, great, this is good. But you just have to kind of build up. He was saying just like, instead of trying to smash a 5K time all the time, you build up an aerobic capacity and just do like a 30-minute jog at like a nice steady pace, and then over time just slowly increase intensity, and then get to the point where like test yourself every so often, see what you can 100%. Get. So you need to try and do that a little bit more. But anyway,
I think, mate, the sprints, like the thing that helped most with the running, like that 10K today, I keep saying how easy it felt. It was just, but mate, doing sprints, like different sprint intervals, like throwing in some plyometrics, and as well as like, I do like a long walk and then just chuck some weight, like kettlebells in a backpack I've got. I think those 2 things have like improved my running so much. Because it's like, you want to improve your back, you don't just do like bent over rows. You've got like
it's like working different rep ranges and different exercises, isn't it? Yeah,
mate, exactly.
That would make sense. That's probably throw some in, because obviously if you're doing the long distance walking with some resistance, like your calves are going to be working like mad, like just for the endurance side of it, and then your sprints. That's the one thing I struggle with, actually. The last little leg of a 5K, trying to kick your legs up and get some pace going, my legs just give way.
How were your legs after the challenge you did?
Oh, mate, all right, yeah. So for everybody who hasn't seen what it was about, in fact, it was quite early into lockdown, like a few weeks in. The challenge was, if I can remember, was a 2K run. Was it a 2K run?
What was it? 2? No, I can't. Yeah, I'm
2K run. Was it 60 squats? I can't remember. 40 squats, 60 sit-ups. No,
80 squats, 60 press ups,
and then 40 sit-ups, and then another 2K run. Yeah, mate, the run done me in, like, because that was like, I literally, before that, all I'd done in terms of running was a 5K run, like I think about 2 or 3 days before, and I'd never really done anything like that, like. And I've just started kind of doing it more, but I was dead. Like, my legs, doing the squats. I was done. I think to be fair, I think my 2K time, my average pace was probably what I can probably average a 5K now. It was that bad. It was horrendous. I should really try and do it again at some point.
Now, I thought that I might just give it a go just to see, because like I'd just come sort of back from like having a bit of an injury.
Yeah.
Like, we should give it another go on the same day and see what happens.
Nah, you'll be like 5 minutes ahead of me. I was buzzing. I just got under 30. I think I got 29 something, and you got like 20.
You're 100 kilos, mate. I'm like
big
80 something now.
And I'm a goalkeeper as well. In terms of football, they don't run, so I'm excused.
Side stepping, mate.
I'm excused anyway. Right, so we'll finish off, because we've been talking for ages. 3 questions. The 3 questions I said I was going to ask you. So, I have to try and remember to ask every single guest these. So the first one is 3 people you'd like to invite round for dinner, past or present, anybody in the world.
So I think I'm going to go just fitness wise, just because that's what we've stuck with. I think that Nick Bear would be one. This is all showing like my transition in fitness. Rich Froning would be another.
Yeah.
And do you know David Goggins? Have you seen him?
Oh, mate, I've read his book. Yeah.
Like,
mindset,
I think those three,
sure.
because I think they're all similar mindset, and it would just be interesting to see how everyone like clicks off each other, and you'd probably walk away and be like, "I'm a pussy." Like,
yeah, like I need to do a lot more.
Yeah, and they eat a lot, so
that'd be a decent dinner. I know that you'll have to go to a decent little portion from Aldi. Like, probably end up spending 500 quid. But anyway, second question is 3 people you want to train with. You could probably just choose the same 3, to be fair.
No, I think I'll go. Right, I'm not really into it anymore, like bodybuilding, but Dorian Yates, because mate, you watch the videos, you're back in the day though, because now he's older, he's a bit
vegan,
injured.
He's into yoga and stuff now, isn't he?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah,
I'm getting like that apparently, like yogi, but yeah, Dorian Yates. This is hard. Do you know Cameron Haynes? I've posted some of his stuff before.
Cameron Haynes, I might. I'll know that I'm better with faces. I'll quickly do it when you're saying you're.
Yeah, mate, he gets up like 4 every day, runs a horrific amount of miles, has like a full-time job, is one of the best bow hunters in the world. I'm not into that.
Yeah, I found him.
I just aspire, mate, his work ethic. So I think it'd be sick to go on a run with him, because you'd probably PB no matter what the condition. And then the last one, probably, yeah, David Goggins again, mate. Like, you watch him train and you're like,
he's non-stop, isn't he?
Just ridiculous.
He does, like, he sets himself random challenges just for the sake of it. Like, I think he did, like, you know, the climbing machine. I don't know what they're called, but they're having quite a lot in like American gyms, like the climbing machine. He done that for like 24 hours non-stop just because he wanted to.
But he's nuts. Like, he's just... You wouldn't want to spend more than probably 1 day with him, because you'd...
Nah, mate, you wouldn't be sleeping. He'd ruin you. Absolutely kill you off. And then the last one...
Has anyone asked you, though? What, gone? 3 people?
Oh, I got to do it. Wait, this is... I'm the podcast host here. I don't have to do it. Oh, right. I'll do the people who I train with, but I haven't actually thought about it, so this is terrible, but... Caught me properly off guard, because I want to get it right. Yeah, this is just off the top of my head. Matt Fraser, because he's an absolute animal and the fittest man on earth, so he'd probably kill me off. Oh man, this is tough when you get caught off guard. It is very tough.
I was waiting.
This is mental. I've got to go bodybuilder. Be good to train with Arnold back in the day, just because it's Arnold. Yeah, just see what he was like, because his sessions looked like ridiculously high volume.
Yeah, he was strong as well, mate. Like,
very strong. I'm trying to think who else I'd like to train with. I can't think, but just from the top of my head,
no.
I like
players though.
Oh, football wise.
Yeah, see, there you go, different realm.
I like to train with what's his name, man? I think he plays for Wolves. Traore. I can't remember his name, but he's an absolute unit.
Yeah.
Do you follow football much?
I'm not really into it, mate.
Yeah, I think it's Traore, but he's an absolute... He used to be at Middlesbrough, but if you Google him after, honestly, for a football, he looks like an American football player. Absolute unit, but I'm going to have to actually probably think about this for a good hour, write it down just in case anybody else asks me, but just on the top of my head, as a football one. And the last question for you is one thing you'd say to yourself 5 years ago.
I forgot you were going to ask that, mate.
Yeah, that's a hard hitting one.
Here you go. Don't put your goals on the back burner. Like, I definitely did it with like applying for the Royal Marines. Like, I wanted to do it since I left school, but there's always been something that's come up, you know, like, and I would have probably been no, because I've done so much that I think my mindset's got better. But I probably would have been in a better place to do the endurance training straight after school, because you're young, you're like, you don't get injured, you bounce when you fall, right? So yeah, it'd just definitely be like, once you know you want to do something, just go for it, because not to get deep, but like, this is finite. Like, we are all gonna die. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to waste time, do you?
Nah,
No
mate, that's
time
what
to
I'm scared
waste.
of. Like, I'm scared of that, wasting time.
Yeah.
What about you, John? One thing,
Oh
5 years.
mate, to be fair, I would just say to myself, like, you're gonna go through a shit few years, and at the end of it, you're gonna be a different person and just take what you can from learning. Like, there's nothing really you say you can do because
But it builds you, doesn't it? Like,
yeah,
obviously,
going through stuff like that, like you might not realize you're gonna go. Like at the back of my mind, I always knew that I was gonna pursue a fitness career sort of thing because it was always a passion. Like I remember watching YouTube videos all the time, and like even when I was like full-time professional football, I just loved being an athlete, and I loved the training side of it. Like there was times I loved the game and stuff. It was more the actually being an athlete and being part of a team and stuff and winning and the training side as well. I was always interested in the gym, and then obviously things happen and stuff, and then I knew I was going to go down this path eventually. I didn't know when, I didn't know how. I thought I was going to go in a different way, but obviously everything that 5 years ago seems like ages ago, but everything that I've been through in 5 years like takes you on that journey. So I don't know, I wouldn't say just let life happen and then ups and downs. There's going to be ups and downs, and it's fine for them to be downs as long as you just keep yourself going, because if you just
I
don't give up on yourself.
Yeah, your podcast, I remember listening to that. Obviously, we'd spoken a bit, didn't really like, no, I didn't even know, mate, you played football. I remember seeing you post like your coaching side of it. And then I like listened to that, and like you obviously, I said you need to make a proper like podcast on this, like talking about the darker sides of like when you were suffering big time, because it's so relatable. People need to hear it, but like that is so relatable to me, mate, because we've all, to an extent, we've all been in that dark place. And I think like, especially as like men, it's easy to,
Bottle it
that
up.
tough exterior. Yeah, exactly. You don't really speak to anyone about it. I didn't. So it'd be good. Like, I know it's going to take quite a lot of like graft on your side to like probably open up, just talking about you.
Yeah.
I mean, you went through a lot, mate. Like, let's be honest, from that podcast I heard, especially injuries, like I couldn't deal with that, mate. Like, hats off, mate.
No,
And
I
then
appreciate that.
like I said, you're on your new journey now. Like, you've got this going. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're making moves everywhere now. You've got this podcast that's sick, mate. Like, it's
I appreciate
good. So
that.
everything
Thanks.
does happen, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like everything that you go through takes you on a journey, and then you learn stuff from it. But like you said, like there was talking about the mental health side stuff, especially being a man. Like there was times where I did give up on myself, but like you give up on yourself, and then you feel like there's a moment and you look at yourself. It's like that. People say that mirror moment where you're like, it feels like you're looking at yourself, even if you're actually not looking at yourself in the mirror. You're like this is not, like, you've got one life, and this is not the thing that you want. I don't want to be this person in life that just gives up and just has the mundane life and picks up there, which is fine if people want to go down that path. But I know for myself, that's not what I want. And I had high expectations for myself. And then like a switch flipped. Like for you, it sounds like relationships and stuff are a big trigger thing for like people going through breakups and stuff. That's a big thing that flips a switch in people. Or it could be a family member's could have lost. It could have been you lost your job that you always dreamed of. Like things like that, dude. Like you go through a shit period of a few weeks, and then you're like, right, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna go and sort my life out now. And then
you need it. I think that's honestly, mate. Like you need those times where you're like, your head's all over the place to be like, right, this is it. Like, mate, since I've applied for this, I've been, every day's been positive. Obviously, I had a bit of an injury. It was a bit annoying, but just feel buzzing now, mate. I've got my goal. Like, I'm working towards it. It's the same with you. You know, you've got your goals now. It might not have necessarily been what it was 5 years ago, but you're progressing towards the goal no matter what. Like it might be different, but you're getting there.
Yeah. Like it's just the mindset. The mindset's always been the same. It's just obviously your journey and your process and stuff. It might have just altered to whichever path you're going on now. So it's the main thing. But no, that's been very good. We've been chatting. That's definitely over an hour. We could have chat. We could have chat for ages. That was solid. That was very good. Just for people who are watching as well, what's your social media and stuff? Where can people find you, just in case? Got to give you a follow.
Yeah, so all my stuff is just on one page. It's just will.hall.fitness. But yeah, I'm just to be honest, mate, I'm not really pushing online coaching anymore because I know I'm going to be away soon. It's more just posting sort of what I'm doing. I put clients on there sometimes. But yeah, it's good. Like, you can check the workouts I'm doing.
Yeah, that's what I like. You put all your workouts on.
But yeah, go give it a check. Everything's pretty raw. Like, I'm just myself, even if I might seem like a bit cold. But yeah, that's it.
No, I like that. I like that. You come across the exact the same as well. Talking to you now on Instagram and stuff, you're the exact same person. So you're not one of them fake Instagrammers as they call it, which is good
thank
to
you,
see.
mate.
So I'll put your Instagram as well in the show notes so people can follow you and stuff. So that was good, mate. I appreciate that.
Solid. No, it's been good.
No,
Thank you,
cheers,
mate.
mate.